Welcome to this Champion Spotlight. Taking a further look at Avalanche, the Defender. Avalanche is a heavily crowd control-oriented tank who specializes in locking down enemies at close range and halting aggressive pushes. Avalanche's first ability is Blizzard. Avalanche blows a cloud of super cold air in a cone, damaging and freezing enemies on impact. Next up is Squall. Avalanche swings his hammer in a circle, damaging nearby enemies and healing Avalanche for every frozen enemy hit. Squall can be used to keep Avalanche in lane even longer than his high defensive stats permit. Landing Squall on multiple frozen targets can turn the tide of a 2v1 fight. Next is Icebreaker. Avalanche smashes an enemy with his hammer, damaging them on impact. Frozen targets take extra damage. Even without the frozen combo, Icebreaker is still Avalanche's best source of damage. You may not need to freeze an enemy to finish them off. Use Blizzard to freeze enemies underneath your turrets, hold them in place for your allies, or set up Avalanche to combo off of his other abilities. Using either combo will break the freeze on an enemy though, so carefully decide if the combo is the right choice. Avalanche's next ability is Hailstorm. Avalanche summons a field of ice in an area. While standing in the ice, Avalanche receives increased damage resistance and his basic attacks freeze enemies. You can lock a single target down multiple times using Hailstorm, or swap your attacks between different enemies. Hailstorm is also a great defensive tool. The increased armor protects Avalanche, while the freeze on basic attack lets you protect your allies. And Avalanche's final ability, Hypothermia. Avalanche grows massive ice spikes, granting him damage reflection and freezing enemies the first time they attack him. Remember that Hypothermia will only freeze enemies on the first hit of reflection. Any attacks after that will be reflected but will not freeze the attacker. Hypothermia will also only freeze an enemy if they are within range. Damage over time effects and field abilities like Modus's Mines will activate Hypothermia's freeze, but make sure that your enemy is still in range before taking unnecessary damage. Avalanche players should look for opportunities to lock down enemies for their allies. If perfectly timed, Avalanche's abilities can be used to keep a normally slippery assassin or mage in place long enough for an ally to shut them down. Avalanche can also play well in a 1v2 lane. He presents a difficult wall for enemies to push past, meaning he's an excellent candidate to hold one lane while allies push in another. However, Avalanche has very little damage. Playing him overly aggressively will leave you in a bad position that even his high defensive stats won't be able to sustain. Avalanche's talents allow him to be customized for any playstyle. For extra lockdown, taunt your enemies at Tier 4. Decrease the cooldown of Blizzard at Tier 7, and lengthen duration of Hypothermia at Tier 10. To make Avalanche even more difficult to take down, get healing from Icebreaker at Tier 4, gain health on kill or assist at Tier 8, and increase Hypothermia's damage reflection at Tier 10. Thanks for watching this Call of Champions Spotlight. Visit callofchampions.com for the latest news and information.